How excited are you that Horror Night Nightmares just released a new speculation map for HHN30? So, what's changed since the last speculation map, and what are some of the details of what are expected to be coming? Well, let's talk about it right now. Before I get into the details, I have to begin by saying a huge thank you to Horror Night Nightmares. I am standing on their shoulders with this video. If for some reason you're living under a rock and you're not familiar with Horror Night Nightmares, you gotta go check them out right now. Besides their speculation maps that they put out every year, they do some amazing work within the community. First, bringing the HHN community together by doing events such as HHN at Home, and second, for the community in general, by doing fundraisers for some very important organizations and raising an enormous amount of money for these organizations. Thank you, Horror Night Nightmares, for all the work you do. So now, let's get into their speculation map for HHN30 2021 version 2.0. So here's the brand new speculation map from HHN Nightmares. Let's start right off with possibly the biggest change from the last speculation map, and that is a Jack stage show in the Fear Factor Theater. Due to COVID, we weren't sure if we're going to have shows like this. However, this is a big change from the last speculation map and something that a lot of people are very excited about. Is this going to continue the traditions of the Jack shows, being the Carnival of Carnage and the Carnage Returns back in 2015? We'll have to wait and see. But the other show that we are already suspecting is a Lagoon show, which was a hit at the last Halloween Horror Nights. Now, another big change from the previous map released by Horror Night Nightmares is the scare zones. Now, what on here is different from last time? Well, one that a lot of people are excited about is a potential Eddie zone out in the San Francisco area, which is where they had the Hellbilly Deluxe zone last time. Now, if you don't know Eddie, you should. It's one of the kind of lost icons, which we'll talk more about as we get closer to this year's Halloween Horror Nights. Another difference from the previous speculation map is instead of a Creepshow specific scare zone, we have a Shudder scare zone located in the Hollywood area. Now, what this means is that we can focus on Creepshow that's available as a TV series on Shudder. We can also see some of the other content that's available on Shudder. Another one that's different is Seek and Destroy in the New York section. Now, what does that mean? Can't say for sure. What is a possible good speculation? Perhaps a Metallica-based scare zone. In Orlando, we've had Halloween Horror Night content based upon musical artists such as Rob Zombie in Hellbilly Deluxe Scare Zone, or Alice Cooper, the head of house in Orlando. The Hellbilly Deluxe Scare Zone was a very popular scare zone, so it is entirely possible they can take that basic concept and adapt it for Metallica. Okay, to finish out the scare zones, we have a couple that were previously listed and are still on the list. That's a Terra Cruentus Scare Zone out in the Central Park area, which is a perfect area for a Terra Cruentus zone. If you're not real familiar with the history of Terra Cruentus, we'll be addressing as we get closer to Halloween Horror Nights. And then finally, we have a 30th anniversary zone located in Production Central, which makes sense to have the 30th anniversary zone right at the beginning opening of the park as the crowds are introduced to Halloween Horror Nights 30. As far as the houses are concerned, not much has changed from the last speculation map. The one change we can see is it is currently listed as either Creepshow or Halloween 3, located in the Shrek Theater. Now, previously it was listed as Creepshow, but there's some rumors that it could be Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Which of the two, or if it's a different property entirely, time will tell. Now, before we go into the details of all of the houses that we previously speculated about, let's talk about these big changes. The one that it seems that most people are currently most excited about is the addition of a Jack stage show. But we also have a lot of Eddie fans that cannot wait to see an Eddie Scare Zone, and there are those who love the music-based properties at Halloween Horror Nights, and if it truly is a Metallica Scare Zone and Seek and Destroy, a lot of people will be excited about that. Personally, I think I'll really enjoy if it is a Metallica-based Scare Zone. However, on the downside, I'm actually a little disappointed that they replaced Billie Eilish with Metallica. Why? Well, Metallica's great for me, for my generation. However, I really want to see Halloween Horror Nights appealing to more and more of the younger generation. Why? So we keep the growth of Halloween Horror Nights strong in the years to come. I personally think it would have been amazing to see Billie Eilish as a property at Halloween Horror Nights. However, I personally am not upset at all about them bringing Metallica. Alright, so how about the other houses we already speculated about? Well, let's talk about them right now. One that we know for sure is returning because it has been officially announced is the Beetlejuice house.
It's showtime!
Another one that's almost a definite is going to be appearing is Puppet Theater Captive Audience. Back at the end of October, in the year that shall not be named, Puppet Theater was announced as coming to HHN30.
Puppet Theater Captive Audience.
Then we have the two houses that we saw last year at the HHN Light event. That's Universal Monsters, The Bride of Frankenstein Lives. And the other one that's returning from last year's HHN Light event is Revenge of the Tooth Fairy. Now to continue through the list, we have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a great house back at HHN 26, and I expect it to be another well-done house. We have HHN Icons Captured. The rumor is this is the Icons Captured in Fear's Lanterns. Fear has granted the Icons their wishes, which places the Icons in scenes of their own desires. The house is rumored to have Jack, Caretaker, Director, Storyteller, Usher, Chance, Lady Luck, Dr. Agana, but Dr. Agana features strictly as a doctor, not as Bloody Mary, Terror Queen, in a scene connecting to the Storyteller, and Fear. We have Welcome to Scary, Horror in the Heartland. This is expected to be an anniversary Best of house, featuring houses from the past set in Cary, Ohio. Scenes we are likely to see will be from the Schoolhouse from HHN 15, or Orphanage, Ashes to Ashes from HHN 20, Spawning from HHN 19, Leave It to Cleaver from HHN 19, Legendary Truth, The Wyandotte Estate from HHN 20, Blood and Guts from HHN 21, Dead End from HHN 22, High from HHN 27, as well as a couple more. The Wicked Growth, Realm of the Pumpkin. I am hoping for an aesthetic that is not a carbon copy, but is reminiscent of the Twisted Traditions scare zone. As Twisted Traditions is one of my all-time favorite scare zones, and I just love the traditional Halloween aesthetic. The rumor is there are varied locations, and you're walking a path into the realm of the Pumpkin King. The Haunting of Hill House? The Haunting of Hill House could potentially be a nice, atmospheric, and creepy house, perhaps similar to what we saw with the Insidious house at HHN 25. If you're a fan of the show, then the sets that could be coming to the house would be the foyer, the kitchen, the cellar, the statue room, stormy hallway, children's playroom, the twisted staircase, and the red room. So, out of all the speculation, what are you most excited to see come to HHN 30? Please let me know in the comments down below, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button.